In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the brake hose on your Subaru Crosstrek. This one's located in the rear of the vehicle, behind the wheel. To remove the wheels, we're going to be using a 19mm socket. Make sure you put your lug nuts somewhere safe that you're not going to kick them around. Now, remove the wheel. To keep the brake fluid in the system, we're going to depress the brake pedal with our foot and hold it with a pry bar against the driver's seat. Then you want to push the seat forward to secure the pry bar on the pedal. We'll remove the banjo bolt from the caliper body using a 12mm. Make sure you put something under the caliper to catch any drips. Make sure both of your old crush washers come off. We'll remove the brake hose from the knuckle using a 12mm. We're going to loosen the brake line fitting with a 10mm. Using a flathead screwdriver, we'll pry the shim out, holding the soft hose to the hard line. Now we can take the fitting the rest of the way off the brake hose. And you can remove your old hose. Inspect the two connection points of the soft brake hose. When installing your new brake hose, be aware of the orientation of the bracket that goes to the knuckle. You want it facing down. Thread the brake line fitting in by hand, then install the shim. You can use a hammer to fully install the shim, just be careful not to damage anything. We're going to tighten down the fitting from the line to the hose. Be careful not to over-tighten this. Wipe this down with a rag. Brake fluid is very corrosive and you don't want to get it on any of your paint. Now we'll attach the hose to the knuckle. When installing your banjo bolt, make sure that you have a copper crush washer above and below the banjo fitting. We're going to tighten the banjo bolt until we feel the crush washers set. Be cautious not to over-tighten this. We're going to move the seat back and release the brake pedal. Remove your bleeder screw cap. Loosen your bleeder screw using a 10mm. Now you want to wait until you see drops of brake fluid that have no air bubbles in them coming out of the bleeder screw. Once you have a steady drip of brake fluid with no air bubbles, you can tighten that back down. Clean up the brake fluid and reinstall your bleeder cap. Reinstall your bleeder screw cap. Make sure you top off your brake fluid reservoir. Press on the brake pedal, make sure that it's firm. If it's not, perform a manual brake bleed. Now I'll put the wheel back on. Support the bottom of the wheel. Thread your first lug all the way in. The first lug will hold the wheel up for us. Snug down the lugs, but don't over tighten them because you're going to want to be able to torque them later. And now we're going to torque the lugs to 89 foot-pounds. Make sure you're going in a star pattern as you go around to bring everything down evenly. We'll wipe down the master cylinder so that we don't get any debris inside the fluid. Remove the cap. Check your master cylinder cap for the type of brake fluid. This application uses DOT3. There's a small screen filter. Remove that as well. You're going to want to get something to remove the fluid. We'll be using this extractor, but a turkey baster works just as well. Now that you've extracted all your old brake fluid, we're going to fill it with new brake fluid up to the fill line. Make sure you put your screen filter back in the reservoir. Next, we'll perform a manual brake bleed procedure, starting with the right rear, moving on to the left rear, then to the right front, and finishing with the left front. Now we'll remove the bleeder screw cap. We're going to loosen the bleed screw, but before we do, we're going to want to attach a hose or a receptacle to catch the fluid. Have an assistant pump up the brake pedal and loosen the bleeder screw with a 10mm. Once they let you know that they're holding the brake pedal, loosen the bleeder screw. Have your assistant let you know when the pedal hits the floor and tighten the bleeder screw back up. Repeat this process until the fluid looks clear and has no bubbles in it. All right, that looks good. Snug up your bleeder screw, clean everything down, and move on to the other side. Don't forget to replace your bleeder cap. After you've bled the rear calipers, top off your master cylinder. Just to the fill line. Then we'll move on to bleeding our other two calipers. Now we'll remove the bleeder screw cap. Set up your receptacle or brake hose to catch your brake fluid. Pump it up. Pump. And pump. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll remove our receptacle, being careful not to spill any brake fluid. Check that your bleeder screw is tight. We'll spray this area down with some brake clean and wipe it down with a rag. Replace your bleeder screw cap and do the same on the other side. When you've completed your manual brake bleed, top off the master cylinder to the fill line. Just to the fill line. And replace your cap. Make sure you install your wheels and torque them to 89 foot-pounds, and then you can pump up the brake pedal. If it's not firm, perform the procedure again.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.